All right, today we are peeling back the layers on Amazon. We're going to look right past all those cardboard boxes and Prime Day deals to uncover the real business. And I promise you, it is probably not what you think it is. So we all know the Amazon of cardboard boxes, right? The one-day shipping, the massive online store that sells everything. That's the surface. But what if I told you that entire gigantic operation isn't actually where the real money is made? What if the true financial engine is hiding just underneath? So yeah, let's break this down. We're looking at Amazon's two distinct businesses, a tale of massive revenue versus massive profit. And that really brings us to the core question here. If you follow the money inside Amazon, where does it actually lead? The answer? Well, it's probably not where you'd expect. Okay, let's get into it. Let's follow the money and see what the numbers really tell us about Amazon's profit engine. So if you just look at revenue, the story seems pretty simple. In 2024, the retail side brought in a mind-boggling $530 billion. I mean, that absolutely dwarfs the revenue from Amazon Web Services, or AWS, at just over $100 billion. So you'd think the store is the whole story, right? Well, watch what happens when we switch over to operating income, the actual profit. The picture completely flips on its head. That massive retail business, it generated about $29 billion in profit. But AWS, with way less revenue, brought in nearly $40 billion. This right here, this is the core of Amazon's real business model. Okay, let's put that into perspective for a second. AWS generated a staggering 58% of the company's total profit from just 17% of its sales. The online store, it gets all the headlines, but the cloud division, that's what's getting the profit. And AWS is so much more than just a profit center. It's literally the company's financial safety net. Take 2022, for example. The company as a whole actually posted a net loss, but AWS, it still generated almost $23 billion in operating income. That profit is what allowed Amazon to keep investing in growing, even when its main retail business was in the red. But here's the crazy part. This incredible profit engine, it wasn't some grand plan from day one. Nope. It was actually born out of complete internal chaos. Let's dig into how an operational nightmare accidentally created an entire industry. Back in the early 2000s, Amazon's internal technology was, to put it mildly, a tangled mess. Their own engineers were spending 70% of their time just building infrastructure for new projects instead of, actually creating new features for customers. So in 2002, a pretty radical mandate came down from the top: decouple everything. They started breaking their complex systems down into these fundamental building blocks called primitives. Think of them like digital Legos, one for storage, one for databases, another for computing power. And once they perfected these for their own use, they had this massive light bulb moment. Hey, if these tools are this useful for us, imagine how useful they could be for any developer in the world. But how did AWS get so dominant, so fast? Well, it's not just about the profit numbers. It's about a deep, deep technological advantage, what investors like to call a moat. A huge part of that moat is that they design their own custom computer chips. I mean, while their competitors are buying chips from third parties, AWS is making its own silicon. Their Graviton chips can deliver up to 40% better price performance. And for AI, they have specialized chips like Trainium and Inferentia. This gives them a massive cost and efficiency edge that is incredibly hard for anyone else to even try to match. And this pyramid here, this perfectly shows their whole strategy for AI. At the very foundation, you've got tools like SageMaker for the experts who are building models from scratch. Then in the middle, you've got Bedrock, which gives you easy access to all the popular AI models. And right at the top, you have ready-to-use apps like Amazon Q. The whole structure is brilliant. It's designed to lock customers into their ecosystem no matter what their needs are. So, what's next for this two-headed giant? Well, this unique structure is creating both some major new challenges and some absolutely incredible new opportunities. When you get this successful, you're going to attract some attention. The massive success of AWS has drawn intense scrutiny from regulators, and it's sparked a huge debate. Should a company this powerful with two such different businesses even be allowed to stay together? And honestly, the arguments on both sides are really compelling. On one hand, people who want to spin off say it would be better for competition and would unlock the true financial value of AWS for investors. But on the other hand, opponents argue that the two businesses make each other stronger. The retail store gives AWS a massive internal customer to test all its new services at a scale that literally no one else can match. But here's where it gets really fascinating. Amazon is now taking the exact playbook from AWS and applying it to its physical delivery network. They're building what you could call a physical cloud. So what did they do? First, they made their own operations incredibly efficient by totally reorganizing their warehouse network into these distinct regional hubs. They slashed the cost to deliver a single package by nearly 50 cents. In the world of logistics, that is a massive, massive gain. And now, just like they did with their servers, they're selling access to this logistics network as a service. Yes, you heard that right. Amazon's physical delivery network is now so good that even its biggest retail rivals like Shopify are becoming its logistics customers. It's wild. So, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this new way of seeing the company. That massive online store we all use, it isn't just a store. Think of it more as a high-fidelity sensor, a giant data-gathering operation and a real-world testing ground for the technology that forms the real business, the cloud. Both the digital one and now the physical one too. The stage is the stage, but the cloud is the engine that's running the entire show.